Okay. Hi. Hi. So I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think our process for teaching was like, I liked how straightforward it was. I think it gave everyone a chance to like develop each of the skills because we started with just working on like the coordination aspect of playing the mallets, which I think a lot of people didn't end up actually touching on. Like I think we were one of the few people that kind of prioritized that, which I personally like. The coordination part of mallets is the toughest part for me. I think for a lot of kids because body awareness is tough. So I like how we started there.
I think, like you said, not too many, at least people in our group, did that. Like specified which hands you should be playing with, which I think you can just go along with it, but I think it's also just for sake of like you said, like coordination and for having everything be unified. I think that like specifying what you're doing with your hands is pretty important.
Yeah, and the way we were able to take, coordination into the specific rhythms that were color coded from the beginning and then have that incorporated on just one note. So learning how to like just play on the mallet and then, or play on the instrument and then adding the rest of the rhythms. I like that part. I think like while we were, I think engaging, I think we could have been a little more creative, like because there's a lot of really cool creative ways that everyone else in our group kind of incorporated, like James with like the puppies. I thought that was really, it's just simple way and like the adding the star with Jason, like a very simple way to add engagement. I think that would be a way to like improve the lesson a little bit, and yeah, I don't know.
I think ours was like, I think ours was very simple and straightforward, which I think is a strength about it. But like you said, it's also, there's no puppies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which as some other more engaging shapes maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But on the flip side, it's like we incorporated like Western notation notes, but we didn't really like acknowledge them too much.
Yeah.
We didn't have to teach them. They just sort of listened to us and copied what we were doing. And what I liked was that we just sort of included the notation so that it can sort of subliminally, just through osmosis, be learned.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a cool idea.
And I think that goes back to like the universal design principles. I think we incorporated like, it was simple, it was straightforward. There wasn't a lot of things that would detract or distract people from learning the skills that we were telling them to learn. And I think the colors were nice and simple, and I think the fonts are really big and like easy to read. I just think like perhaps it could be a little more like each step could have been slightly more engaging. I know Jason's the one feedback that we got that was constructive, Jason is a little worried how the pacing would go because the pacing started a little fast and then it slowed down.
Yeah, I think if I had just started a little bit slower, then things would have been a little bit better there. But we had a lot to go through,
Right.
And we only had like 5 to 7 minutes,
Right.
And I wanted to make sure we could get through all that time. So I wanted to get through the simple stuff early on, so we could get to the more complicated stuff.
And you made a comment about someone else's teaching process, which I like reflected on ours. Like you mentioned how some people might have been talking more than we were playing, and I think we kind of did the opposite a little bit. We did not talk for a lot of it. I talked just to explain what we were going to do next and then had them repeat a lot of things, but I think it was both a strength and slightly not a strength. The strength is that they played a lot, they got a lot of reps in, and I think perhaps it would have helped the pacing if in the beginning we talked a little bit more about the process. I personally think for a lot of people's projects, not just ours, that like the introduction to the song was kind of disconnected from the rest of it. I didn't really visualize where a lot of people were going to go, where they were taking the project, except for Jason, I think. That one made a lot of sense to me. But everyone else kind of had like, repeat after me with these rhythms. And then it was like, all right, now let's jump in. And I kind of forgot what we did in the beginning to get to that point. So I think we did an okay job of that, but if we added a little more engagement in the beginning, I think it would have been even more helpful for the process and like the scaffolding.
I agree, but I also disagree because I think the introduction is just like I kind of think of it as like a bridge to get to where we need to be. So like, you know, going right, left, right, left, right, left, you know, that doesn't necessarily need to be something that like people remember as long as, or you know, actively remember as long as it's internalized and they know like, okay, we should be using on quarter notes, it should just be alternating between right and left, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't think it needs to be like every single step of the way needs to be memorable.
Oh yeah, I just meant like engagement wise. I think it could have been something like that kids latch onto more. I personally,
And
with my brain, I get distracted really easily, and if I don't know why we're doing what we're doing at any point, I check out
yeah, that's
mentally.
fair.
So like that
Right.
was just differentiating instruction that way.
I do think we could have probably added more opportunities for student engagement, like asking
Yeah.
questions and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff too. Because it was pretty much just like copy.
Do it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, the whole time.
But I think we did a decent job.
Overall, I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy with the finished product. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.